How's it going, everyone? This is Zachary Taylor with the Guardians of Liberty podcast, joined as always by Nathan Parada. How you doing,
What's up,
Nate?
everybody? I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm sicker than a dog, and I'm going to try to get through this.
You'll get through it.
And we have our special
You'll
guest this.
survive.
And Nathan's roboting. That's great. That is just how this podcast needs to start. So we have our special guest this week, and I apologize for bringing you on this train wreck. Bennett Morris from Illinois, who is running for the Region 6 representative, which is currently held by David Pratt Demarest, who is not seeking re-election. As far as I know, you're the only person who's announced, because I dropped like a month ago. So,
that's as far as I know as well.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like your background, your activism, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, sure. So from a personal perspective, I'm a marketing analyst at a Fortune 50 company. I have my MBA, and I live in Bloomington, Illinois, which is right smack dab in the middle of the state of Illinois. Politically, I have been involved in politics for a long time, but more recently have joined the Libertarian Party. Was involved in politics in college. That's where I found libertarianism through Young Americans for Liberty and Ron Paul, and then went straight to the Libertarian Party thanks to our great former state chair, Lex Green, who also lives in my hometown, who brought me to an LP meeting, and I realized this was where I needed to be all along. From there, I became chair of my local affiliate, and the McLean County Libertarian Party in 2016 became the only county in the state of Illinois to get established party status through the Gary Johnson campaign. Mm-hmm. And I've recruited 14 candidates so far to run for local office, 9 of which are running this November. And so I'm really passionate about getting more choices on the ballot, and not just more choices, but higher quality choices on the ballot. Since then, I have represented in this cycle Illinois on the National Platform Committee, and I also was the chair of our convention committee, which was our biggest state convention ever, which also required a lot of responsibilities as it pertained to selecting our governor candidate, which was a highly contested race, 3-man race for that. And then I was recruited by Lex Green again to be the state chair for Illinois. And so I just started those responsibilities last month, right in the middle of ballot access. So that's what all Illinois volunteers, if you ask them, that's what they're working on right now. And so that's where I am today. I'm looking to, I'll be the delegate chair in New Orleans for Illinois, and I'm looking forward to maintaining what we have in Region 6 and representing Region 6, representing the largest state affiliate in that region, and want to make sure that that our state affiliate, as well as other state affiliates, are represented on the LNC, especially in the Midwest.
So a couple quick questions. South Dakota? Do you support them coming into Region 6, or do you think that they should go to a different region?
I support them coming to Region 6. I think it makes sense.
Okay.
I think it makes sense geographically, as well as securing our region status, because I believe we're right at the cusp of that that 10%.
Mhm.
And I think if any state backs out at the last minute, we're going to have problems. So yeah, I would support including South Dakota.
There was also, and this is other than the two I just said, there was also talk about Montana possibly trying to switch from Region 1 to 6. What do you think about that?
I heard something about Idaho too. I'd like for the region to represent, a geographic segment, and I think the Midwest,
Farm country, essentially.
yeah. I think that we share a lot of the same, values and same problems in politics, I think Montana and Idaho, if that's true, that Idaho is interested as well. If they're looking at joining, I welcome the new people. The only thing I worry about is expanding too far to where we don't really have a reason for us to be a cohesive region.
And I'm sure you don't want, because Illinois is on the far eastern edge of the region. I'm sure you don't want to have to travel to conventions all the time in Montana and Idaho.
Hey, I mean, I'm pretty open to traveling. I love traveling, so and I love traveling to go meet new libertarians. So that's not really a problem for me. The problem for me is if we start getting into, okay, well, we're in Idaho and now we're in, Oregon and Washington, where that's clearly not, representing similar people and similar problems.
So my other question is, how old are you? Because you're looking a little bit like our age, maybe a little younger.
I'm 28.
Okay, yeah.
But I feel like I've accomplished a lot.
Yeah. So that question isn't like are you too young for this spot? I actually think it's a benefit because a lot of the people who came into the movement lately are younger, and I think it's important that no other way to say this tactfully. Millennials are kind of the backbone of the party right now, and they should be represented on the LNC.
Yeah, and I think I think it's I'm also youthful when it comes to being part of the Libertarian Party, but I also think that I've done a significant amount of work for the limited time that I've been here. So that's not just for my age, but for my so to speak, libertarian wise, and so I want to see more people that I see people every day in our state affiliate that get really excited. They come in, they get really excited, and unfortunately, there are some local affiliates in our state where someone's really excited and they're not really put to work. They're not really we don't really leverage them in the way that we need to. So yeah, I think coming from my perspective, I came into a local and state affiliate where Lex Green, my mentor, really took me under his wing and showed me all of the things that make our party great, and I think that's an important perspective.
All right, so you're now the new state chair for Illinois. It's one of the larger affiliates in the area. You also have some signatures to gather up within the next month to gain ballot access, as well as a governor's race that I assume you're going to be very involved in. So why did you decide that running for LNC is an important enough job to take away from those other jobs that you're doing?
I actually don't see it as taking away from other work that I'm doing. I have a lot of flexibility in my work. And I also, last year I was recruiting candidates. I ran for office. I got married. I was getting my MBA. I was leading my local affiliate to get established party status. So all within a year, most of those things have dropped off, and I have some flexibility and the ability to take on things that excite me, and I'm really excited about the opportunity to lead our state affiliate to get that established party status for our state. To me, that's not work. That's stuff that excites me. I kind of geek out on this stuff, and so working on a platform committee. I was just in Columbus, Ohio for that meeting, and I love being able to meet new libertarians, find out what problems they have in their state, because every state is different, and see how we can leverage the resources within the LNC to help state affiliates have the resources they need to be successful.
All right, so
yeah, I definitely have the time and the passion to work on the LNC and make sure that those people that Zach mentioned, those millennials that are the backbone of the party, and those new people that are coming in are given the resources they need to succeed.
No, that's good, because that's a lot of jobs to put on your plate, and I mean, it's good that you are able to do all that. So I guess my next question is, the LNC, what would you like to see accomplished if you are elected to that seat?
I being in Illinois, where ballot access is, our ballot access laws are awful. I don't think that there is an understanding in some other states that have the privilege of being considered an established party. Not to say they haven't done the work, but have that established party status because their state isn't as corrupt as ours.
I don't think there's many states that's quite as corrupt as yours.
Illinois is tough to beat. So I definitely want to make sure that there are people on the LNC, that there continues to be people on the LNC that support ballot access, and know that it's not that because Illinois is not an established party, it's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of amazing effort by our ballot access director, Christopher Walker, who doesn't even live in Illinois. She lives in Missouri, and she just loves our state affiliate so much that she commits that time. So just wanting to make sure that in the future, as we continue to move the party forward and we continue to market the Libertarian Party brand, that it's important that we continue to have the Libertarian Party on the ballot in all of these states. We need to be on the ballot in all 50 states if we're going to, overcome the people saying that we're not a viable party. So yeah, I think that's an important thing. Another important thing is just making sure that the Libertarian Party brand is professional at the national level. It's fine if your local affiliate wants to be, just a place where you go and drink beers with libertarians and complain. That's obviously not ideal, but it can't be that same culture on the LNC. We need people who are professional and come off that way. So I think that's also important.
Speaking of which, there's a very contentious, shall we say, race for chair of the Libertarian Party. You are running for, to be on the committee. So obviously, whoever wins chair and vice chair makes a huge difference for you going forward if you manage to win this seat. So I'm not asking you to officially endorse anybody, but what are your thoughts about the race for chair and vice chair?
I think that there are definitely options for chair where the region rep position is going to be more valuable and more important. I think I definitely have my opinions. I'm not going to endorse anyone. I'm not even going to endorse anyone at the convention because, as a representative for Region 6, I would need to work with whoever the delegates select, and I'd be proud to work with whoever the delegates select. I have faith that the delegates will bring forward a candidate that is professional and can move our party forward and make sure that our party is focused on outreach and not becoming what I mentioned earlier, which is just a bunch of guys sitting around.
Are there candidates that, if you're not going to endorse anyone, are there candidates that you maybe really don't want to see?
So I can say that I will not endorse Arvin Vora. I think everyone in my state affiliate is aware of that. Everyone in our state affiliate, to my knowledge, opposes Arvin Vora's candidacy. I wrote the letter to the LNC on behalf of Illinois, who voted unanimously on that resolution that I wrote, asking for his resignation. And so, yeah, I can outright guarantee you that I will not be supporting Arvin Vora.
I think that's the answer that most people want to hear at this point.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I think there's some things that he probably does very well, in his job. But there are other elements to his job, including, representing the party.
Not being an internet troll?
Yeah, don't be an asshole. It's really not that difficult. And so, yeah, I would not support his candidacy. Other than that, I'm not going to.
That's basically what we were getting at, was just to. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people are initially going to be like. Well, is this guy going to support Arvin and all that kind of? And it's not even Arvin. Is this guy going to support someone else going completely rogue and trashing our party, like our reputation?
Right.
I think it's what a lot of, however you line up on that issue, your answer to that question is important. Mm-hmm. Because we do have some of our listeners are Arvin fans. Yeah. And they will want to know that you are a candidate that is not necessarily going to stand for his messaging and tactics.
Yeah, and I think it's fine for libertarians to support Arvin and what he thinks, and support trolls like Arvin, but not as the vice chair of the national party. That's unacceptable.
So. Yeah, that should really go without saying. And yeah, frankly, I don't think that's something you're going to have to worry about, because I will fall out of my chair if on convention day Arvin Vora wins re-election. I think
vice chair is down to a 2-horse race at this point. Like I like a lot of the guys that are running. I've been able to interview a lot of them. They're all mostly pretty cool. I think it's down to Goldstein and Merced at this point. And I might be completely wrong, but I live on the internet, and that's kind of the vibe I get from online. So maybe there's like the super secret libertarian not on the internet group that I don't know about.
We still got a couple months. Someone can.
Yeah, and that can happen. We did just pick up a new candidate for chair, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get back on to serious topics.
That's so fun.
So one of the recent additions to the LNC, kind of like the party structure is the blockchain committee, which is only around until the convention, and then the next LNC is going to decide if it's going to continue or not. Is the blockchain committee something that you support or not, and why?
Okay, so I don't really have a problem with setting up a blockchain committee if its goal is to outreach the blockchain community, which has been favorable to the libertarian message. Actually, there's someone in my local affiliate, a high school student, who just loves everything blockchain, everything crypto, and was really excited to hear about this blockchain committee. I don't think it's going to accomplish much, and it's not taking up a bunch of resources. Sorry, I have a cat trying to bother me. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. If they do it right, then they can get some new people into the party. But I don't think that's the purpose of the committee. It's not going to hurt anything. So, let the blockchain folks have their committee, and if it doesn't present any results, then there's just because this blockchain exists or doesn't exist does not make blockchain and work regarding blockchain exist or not exist in the libertarian movement. So, it's kind of like setting up the Department of Energy. Just because the federal government sets up the Department of Energy doesn't mean we will have more or less energy. There's nothing preventing anyone from working in that space.
Okay. You got anything you want to jump in with, Nathan?
I just like to ask: are there any projects you would like to see the Libertarian Party take on that they're not doing right now, that you would present forward if you're elected to this position?
I think we kind of talked about it a little bit, is that messaging to millennials and how we do that. I think the analogy that I give is politics have become so tribal. It's almost like a sports team. You're Republican because your dad, supported the Republicans, or your mom's side of the family supports the Democrats. So that's like your team that you root for. And I think millennials are more and more shifting away from that in the sports world and in politics. I think, people are jumping on the Warriors bandwagon because they're an exciting team to watch. And, they're not necessarily rooting for their team anymore. They're not rooting for a team just because of where they live or who their parents root for. They're rooting for a team because it's exciting and new. And I think that's something that the Libertarian Party can do. I think we can message ourselves in a way that, we can demonstrate that we have been ahead of the curve on issues like gay rights and cannabis legalization. And we can continue to be ahead of the curve on legalizing gambling and prostitution and really, everything that's in our platform that stands for freedom. And I think, we know we're right. We just need to make it exciting. And we need to get people out of their tribalist mentalities and out of this, I live in Bloomington, Illinois, right between the Chicago and St. Louis. So getting them out of the Chicago Cubs or St. Louis Cardinals mentality and get them to root for an exciting team that's doing stuff right.
Kansas City.
So one of the things, like when I was looking into running for this, one of the things that was big on my agenda was to separate new media from traditional media, and like I always forget what the name of the committee is that does media and that kind of thing, and separate those into two completely different committees so that there's a different group of people targeting, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all of those things, because I think that the way that you do that is a lot different than the way that you do print media and news channels and things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
And to me, you don't want the same people doing those things. And what you were just talking about, is that the kind of idea that you would be down with too?
That's a great idea. Like I said, I work in marketing. I work in digital advertising, actually. And I was once assigned to print advertising, and I hated it, and I didn't know how to do it. The people that print is targeting is completely different from the people that you're targeting in search engine marketing or display media. And so yeah, I totally would agree with that. I think that's sound judgment. I think it's important that we. I'm sorry, what was that? I'm not getting audio for you.
Oh, sorry. I muted somehow. So that was like my one issue. So it's good that now I don't have to run on it, because you can do that.
You just made Zach happy.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I think it's sound from a business standpoint, and sound from just knowing our members and what we need to get out of our media.
All right, so I guess we covered everything that we want to cover. Do you have a website? Do you have any way for people to get in contact with you if they want more information?
Yeah, so I have a sorry, let me get my cat out of the way. Let's edit this out.
They never listen.
Never listen. All right. Sorry about that. So yeah, I have a Facebook page, Bennett Morris Libertarian. Please don't add me on Facebook if you haven't met me. I keep that, for people who I've met in person. But yeah, you can definitely engage with me on Facebook, on Twitter, and happy to answer any questions that your viewers may have about what I want to do with the party moving forward.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all we have to cover right now. Thank you for coming on the program. I hope that this conversation has been informative for any delegates who are going to be in New Orleans looking to elect a new region representative.
Thank you.
Yeah, I won't be there. Zach will be there, so maybe you two can get a beer or something while you're down there.
Yeah, look forward to meeting you all.
All right. Well,
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You have a good night. Thank you, everybody, for listening.